The Grand Jeon Medical Institute stood tall before you, a symbol of power and prestige. The hospital was massive, owned by Jungkook's family, the Jeons, a name that dominated the medical world in Korea, the very place where your husband, Jeon Jungkook, spent most of his hours, no, most of his life. You weren't unfamiliar with this site. You had visited before, always as a quiet, obedient wife who never questioned his priorities. But today felt different. Today was your first birthday as his wife, and he doesn't even know because you didn't told him. Pushing aside your emotions, you reminded yourself why you were here. You had a routine pregnancy checkup today. Yes, you were pregnant, his child growing inside you. You walked through the familiar halls, smiling at the nurse who recognized you. You greeted the receptionist who quickly guided you towards your appointment room. As you stepped inside the consultation room, you expected to see Jungkook. After all, he always insisted on handling your checkups personally. But instead of seeing your husband, you were greeted by another doctor, a woman, young, beautiful, in a white coat, and with a striking confidence that made your heart clench. Mrs. Jeon, hello, I'm Dr. Minji. She greeted warmly. Dr. Jeon is currently in surgery, so I will be handling your checkups today. Surgery? You blinked. Minji's smile didn't falter. Yes, Dr. John is busy in surgery, so he assigned me to take care of you. That's fine, Dr. Minji. Still, you forced a small smile. You weren't surprised. Jungkook was always busy because he was Dr. John Jungkook, a world-renowned super specialist surgeon, a man who saved life daily. As Dr. Minji examined your reports, she made light conversation, unlike your husband, who always kept things professional. All right, you are doing well. The baby growing perfectly, she said, smiling. Do you want to hear the heartbeat? Your chest tightened. Jungkook always did this part, but he wasn't here today. Swallowing your disappointment, you nodded. Yes, please. The rhythmic sound of a baby's heartbeat filled the room, steady and strong. A tear pricked at the corner of your eye, but you quickly wiped it away before the doctor could notice, a heartbreaking realization. As you walked out of the consultation room, your heart ached. Jungkook not with you on your birthday hurt, but Jungkook missing this important checkup hurt more. You scoffed, shaking off the ache in your chest. Of course, he was busy. He always was. You had married a man who lived in operating rooms, not fairy tales. Your marriage was not the kind that thrived on warmth and affection. He wasn't the type to shower you with sweet words or a spontaneous gesture of love. At the same time, you weren't a woman of high expectations. You never winned or demanded his time, knowing how much his profession demanded of him. Being married to a man, a renowned super specialist surgeon, meant accepting that he wasn't the romantic kind. But was it wrong to wish he would at least stay with you on this day of yours? You had never questioned him, never complained, not when he left home before dawn of surgeries, not when he came home late smelling of antiseptics, and not when he collapsed on the couch with exhaustion instead of holding you in bed. Because he had never made you feel left out. Even in his silence, his presence had always been reassuring. Until now, until today, your birthday, a part of you, a tiny, foolish part, had hoped, and today, for the first time, something inside you cracked. Jungkook came home past midnight. You were sitting on the couch staring, the untouched birthday cake on the table. The candles had long since melted. What's this? He looked at you, then at the cake. His brow frowned. Nothing. You swallowed hard. His gaze flickered to your belly. How was the checkup? Your assistant took care of it, you whispered as your fingers tightened around your lap. Jungkook exhaled, rubbing his temple. I told her to. A bitter low chuckle escaped your lips. Of course you did. He finally looked at you fully. Ryan, what's wrong? You stared at him, feeling a lump in your throat. Nothing, Jungkook, just happy birthday to me, I guess. His entire body stiffened. You saw it, the way his eyes widened, just a fraction, the way realization hit him too late. He wasn't aware. Jungkook, your husband, the father of your child, didn't know your birthday. A lump formed in your throat, silence stretched between you, thick with unspoken words. He took a slow step forward. Why didn't you tell me? His voice was softer now, guilt creeping in. You looked down, fiddling with the hem of your dress. You always leave early, come home late. I never got the chance. Your voice trembled slightly, and I thought, you must be too busy. Ryan? Jungkook's jaw tightened. He ran a hand through his hair, his shoulders heavy with guilt. His voice was low, almost pained. For the first time in your marriage, you saw a quick flicker in his eyes. For the first time, he felt like he failed you. Jungkook stood frozen. He was a man of precision, a doctor whose hands had saved countless lives. But right now, under the weight of your stare, he had never felt more helpless. Your first birthday as his wife, your first birthday while carrying his child, and the worst part, he had been so absorbed in work that he wouldn't have even realized it if you hadn't said anything. The silence was suffocating. You stood up, your movements slow as if exhaustion had finally taken over. Your whispered voice, void of emotion. I'm going to bed. Wait. His voice was firm, but his hand never reached for you, as if he knew he didn't have the right. You paused, not looking at him. Jungkook clenched his face, struggling for the right words. Apologize weren't his strength. He was a man of action, not emotion. I will make it up to you, he finally said. You let out a humorless chuckle. You can't, Jungkook. You already missed it. It's already over. With that, you walked away, leaving him standing in the dimly lit living room, staring at the untouched cake, the only evidence of what should have been a special day. You woke up feeling empty. The spot beside you in bed was cold, untouched. He must have slept in his study again. Swallowing the disappointment settling in your chest, you pushed yourself out of bed and went through your morning routine, brushing your hair, dressing in comfortable maternity wear, trying to shake off the lingering sadness. But as you stepped out of the bedroom, your feet halted, your breath hissed. The dining table was full, a breakfast spread unlike anything Jungkook had ever made before. Your favorite dishes perfectly arranged, as if he had spent all night preparing them. You stared at it in disbelief, and at the center of the table, a single note hesitantly. You reached for it, your finger brushing over the words. I can't change yesterday, but let me be better today. I will come home early in the evening and take you out. Wait for me, Jungkook. Your chest tightened. You looked at the food again, the effort, at the silent apology of a man who struggled to express love in words. Something inside you softened. Maybe, just maybe, Jungkook hadn't forgotten you. Maybe he had only forgotten how to show it. A small hesitant smile tugged at your lip as you sat down to eat, and for the first time in a while, the food didn't taste bland. But it made you believe that he was really trying and you weren't as alone as you felt. The morning passed quickly, and by afternoon, the thought of going out with Jungkook filled you with anticipation, a chance you rarely get. You stood before the mirror, running a hand over your baby bump, trying to find something nice to wear. A dress, something more comfortable, something that suited your changing body but still made you feel beautiful. But that moment of hope was short-lived. Your phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number with a picture attached. You frowned, clicking on it, only for the world around you to shatter. Jungkook, Dr. Minji, your vision blurred as you clutched the phone, your heart pounding so hard it hurt. No, this couldn't be real. You had met Minji just yesterday, his new assistant, the same woman who handled your pregnancy checkups because your husband was too busy, the same woman he had sent you to instead of showing up himself, and now she was in his arms. A sharp, painful breath escaped you, tears burned your eyes, but you forced yourself to stare at the picture as if looking long enough would make it make sense, would make it not true. Jungkook wouldn't, would he? You covered your mouth, a choked, bitter laugh bubbling up in your throat. This was your husband, the man you had trusted without question, the man you had never argued with. Because where would you go if he ever left? And now it seems like he already had. Your fingers tremble as you stared at the picture your husband, the father of your child, to another woman. Your chest ached so much it felt like you couldn't breathe. Your mind screamed for logic, for reason. Was this real? But no matter how much you tried to deny it, the truth was clear in the image. It was him and Minji. Your knees buckled and you sank onto the chair. Just this morning he had left you a note promising to take you out, promising to make things right. But now this, a part of you wanted to believe there was an explanation, a misunderstanding. But how could you ignore the way she leaned into him, the way his at that once belonged only to you, were captured against hers, your stomach twisted violently, your baby, a hand instinctively cradled your belly. You weren't just a betrayed wife anymore, you were a mother-to-be carrying the child of a man who might have never been truly yours. Your phone buzzed again. This time it was from Jungkook. I will be home in an hour. Get ready. An hour? You wiped your tears quickly, gripping the phone. Fine. You would wait. You stared at the picture one last time before pressing delete. What was the point? Even if you confronted him, even if he denied it, what difference would it make? The damage was done. Your chest fell hollow as you placed the phone down and exhaled shakily. An hour later, the sound of the front door unlocking made you flinch. You forced yourself to stay seated on the couch, your phone resting on your lap. Footsteps. Then Jungkook appeared, dressed in his usual black shirt, sleeves rolled up slightly, his voice glinting under lights, his sharp eyes softened slightly when they leaned on you. You are not ready yet. You shook your head, forcing your voice to stay neutral. I'm not feeling well. I don't want to go out. His brow frowned, and before you could even think of an excuse, his doctor instinct kicked in. He stepped closer, his eyes scanning your face, sharp and assessing. Ryan, what's wrong? Nothing. You turned away, but Jungkook wasn't convinced. He crossed beside you, pressing his fingers to your wrist. You knew what he was doing, checking your pulse. His gaze darkened slightly, and before you could react, he grabbed his stethoscope from his bag and placed it against your arm. His touch was gentle, but it felt wrong. You used to crave his attention, but not today, not after seeing that picture. The cuff tightened around your arm as he checked your blood pressure. Jungkook's jaw clenched. It's high. His voice was serious, now full doctor mode activated. You stayed silent, he sighed, rubbing his forehead. Need to rest. You didn't resist when he gently guided you towards the bed, his hand lingering on your shoulders longer than necessary. His warmth used to be your comfort, but now it only made you sick. You should have told me earlier. His voice was softer now, a rare warmth less in his word. I wouldn't have let you strain myself. You almost laughed. The only thing straining you was him. Jungkook adjusted the pillow behind you carefully, his finger brushing against your arm. If it had been any other day, you would have melted in his touch, let yourself drown in his rare movement of tenderness. But not today, not when your mind replayed that image over and over again. His betrayal, Jungkook sighed, unaware of the storm inside you. I will stay home. I don't want you alone in the condition. You blinked at him. What was this? Guilt? Love? You used to think you were lucky. An orphan girl like you married into the prestigious Jeon family, all because of your uncle, the only relative who had ever acknowledged you. You should be grateful, he had said. A useless girl like you got to marry Jeon Jungkook. Don't mess it up. And for a long time you believed it. You were noble. Jungkook was a super specialist surgeon, a Jeon, a man older than your age. You never questioned him, never demanded love. But now you wondered. Had you ever really been his wife, or were you just a convenience? Jungkook sat at the edge of the bed, his sharp eyes scanning you with concern. You should sleep. He murmured, reaching out to adjust the blanket over you. His finger burst against your skin, and you flinched. Jungkook stilled. You saw the flicker of confusion in his expression, the way his brows knitted together. He noticed it. He always noticed everything. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing, just tired. You shook your head, forcing a small smile. His lips pressed into a thin line. He didn't believe you, but he didn't push either. Instead, he let out a deep sigh, rubbing his temples. I should have been paying more attention, he muttered mostly to himself. I got too caught up with work. You and the baby are my priority. I won't let it happen again. Your chest tightened. If only you had never seen that picture, you would have believed him. Jungkook was never warm, but he wasn't cruel. He was strict, disciplined, and reserved, but he never made you feel unloved. Until now. You turned your head slightly, watching his side profile, his chiseled jaw, the slight stubble he often forgot to save, the flaw in his brow. Was he really lying to you? Or was this marriage, your entire life with him, just a beautifully crafted illusion? Your voice was quiet when you spoke. Do you ever regret marrying me? Jungkook's head snapped towards you instantly. His dark eyes locked onto yours, sharp and unreadable. Why would you ask that? You swallowed, your fingers gripping the blanket tightly, because sometimes it feels like I don't belong here. Jungkook brows frowned deeper. He exhaled sharply, leaning back, his hand resting on his thigh. That's not true. You waited for him to say more, to tell you he loved you, to reassure you, but he didn't, because that wasn't Jeon Jungkook. He showed his care in silent ways, in late night check-on, in making sure you ate, in placing an extra blanket over you when he thought you were asleep. But today, none of it felt like enough. Your throat tightened. You wanted to scream, to ask him about Minji, about that picture, but would you be able to handle his answers? Instead, you whispered, I'm sleepy. Jungkook studied you for a moment. Before nodding, he reached forward and tucked a stray strand of hair behind your ear. It was so gentle, so him, that it almost shattered you. Sleep. He murmured, I'm not going anywhere. You closed your eyes, but deep down you knew he already had. The next morning you woke up to the sound of your phone buzzing. Last night had been a blur. Jungkook concerned, his rare gentle touches, his presence by your side, All of it felt like a lie. You hesitated before picking up your phone. It was a message from Jungkook. Check the news now. The door creaked open. Jungkook walked in, his white coat wrapped over his arm, dark circles under his tired eyes. He looked exhausted, drained. He paused. When he saw you awake, your eyes were puffy, a telltale sign of silent tears. You didn't sleep? You shook your head. You had never waited impatiently for him before, but after everything, after knowing the truth, after realizing he was innocent, it was as if your heart had been aching to see him, as if despite everything you had wanted him to come home. Did you eat? He asked, taking a hesitant step forward. Your lips parted, but no words came out. You weren't sure what you wanted to say All you knew was that after an entire day of heartache, confusion, and relief, you just wanted to be near him. For a moment, neither of you spoke. Then Jungkook sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. His finger ran through his messy hair before he turned to face you. You saw the news. It wasn't a question, yet you nodded. His jaw clenched, and your throat tightened. Your thoughts and I broke down over something fake, and I believed you could betray me, and I didn't even ask you before assuming the worst. You lowered your gaze. Jungkook exhaled heavily, rubbing his face. I should have told you earlier. He admitted. I knew something was off, but I didn't think it would affect you like this. You just acted at his words, so he knew. He saw through you last night. You weren't feeling sick, Jungkook moaned. His voice was softer now, almost guilty. It was because of that picture, wasn't it? He swallowed hard, nodding. Jungkook let out a dry chuckle, shaking his head. You thought I was cheating on you. His words weren't mocking, they were tired. You finally looked up at him. What was I supposed to think, Jungkook? His eyes softened for a split second. I see. He moaned, and without another word, he leaned forward, resting his forehead against yours. Your breath hissed. His hands found yours under the blanket, finger curling around them gently. You are my wife, he whispered. No matter how much of a terrible husband I am, I would never betray you. Something inside you cried. But how do you know when I never said anything? Jungkook exhaled, his gaze unwavering. I saw some unbelievable pictures on her phone yesterday, and that's when I told security to keep an eye on her. And last night, a staff member called me, and she was caught trying to steal something from the record room. They called the police, and when I checked her phone, I saw that the most recent thing she had done was send you that picture. A tear slipped down your cheek. The walls you had been built around your heart, the ones meant to protect you from the fear of losing him, collapsed. Jungkook may not have been the romantic husband you dreamed of, but he was still yours, and you had almost let a lie take that away from you. More tears slipped down your face silently. You didn't sob, didn't wail, just let them fall, each one carrying the weight of the fear, doubt, and hurt you had been holding inside. Jungkook didn't stop you, he didn't wipe them away, just waited for you to release every ounce of stress weighing on your chest. Waited for you to finally let go of the pain, what had been suffocating you since last night. The silence between you stretched, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't filled with anger or resentment, just an unspoken understanding that this moment was necessary. When your sniffle finally quieted, when your breath evened out, Jungkook sighed and shifted closer. His large warm hands settled on your belly, his thumb brushing against your skin in soothing circles. His voice was gentle when he spoke. I wanted to tell you something yesterday. He moaned, your swollen eyes blinked at him. Jungkook exhaled, his shoulders relaxing slightly. I had plans. You frowned your brows. Plans? A ghost of smile played on his lips. For your belated birthday? Your heart clenched painfully. I wasn't going to take you to some fancy restaurant, he admitted. I know you don't care about that, and I also know you have been feeling out of place. You swallowed hard. You are not from my world, he continued. You didn't grow up in hospitals around doctors, around expectations like mine, and I never wanted to make you feel like you had to fit in. Jungkook's finger tightened around yours. Jungkook's fingers tightened around yours. So I bowed a house. Your breath hissed. He glanced at you, causing your reaction. A little away from the city, not too far, just enough so you don't feel suffocated by my family's world. Somewhere peaceful, somewhere you can breathe. A fresh wave of tears blurred your vision. Jungkook frowned. Why are you crying again? You let out a soft wail, shaking your head because you sniffled. I feel so stupid. I thought you don't love me. Jungkook chuckled, tickling his head with glistening eyes. Well, you are stupid. Excuse me? Your jaw dropped. You shuddered. Jungkook cupped your face, tittling it up. So you were forced to look at him. His dark eyes, always so intense, poured into yours with quiet resolve. Listen to me. His voice was low, firm. No one, no picture, no rumor, no lie will ever change the fact that you are my wife, and I don't betray people belongs to me. Your breath couched. Jungkook had never been the type to say I love you, but maybe, just maybe, this was his way of showing it. But your heart fluttered, your body froze because you weren't expecting this. When he pulled you into his lap, wrapping his arms around you, Jungkook whispered, You may be my stupid wife, but I will always love you. Only you, no matter what. And he kissed your forehead, holding you close. You realized this was the happy ending you never thought you would get. You buried your face in his chest, whispering,